We do bands, we do DJs, we do national acts, we do speed painters, character artists. We do the craziest things. If you think it, we've got it. And if we don't have it, we'll find it. We will not disappoint. That is our promise and commitment to everyone. And have a Breezin day. Hi, this is Cindy Dervech, owner and CEO of Breezin Entertainment and Productions. Thanks for joining us today on Breezin Chats. On today's episode, we will be driving into the world of wedding industry, discussing trends, how to find your perfect vendors, where to start when you're planning your wedding. We will also be chatting about how to take the stress out of planning and give you some inside pointers on how to enjoy your special day. Today, we are super excited to bring you another Breezin Magazine's 40 Under 40 honoree. Today's guest has appeared as a wedding expert on national talk show Daytime TV, ABC Action News, News Channel 8, and Fox 13, and has provided wedding planning advice in the U.S. News and World Report, Washington Post, and LA Times. She also was a finalist for the Tampa Bay Business Journal's Businesswoman of the Year. As the owner and editor of the wedding publication Marry Me Tampa Bay and founding member of Isle Society, collective of the top wedding publications from around the world, and runs the online marketing consulting firm Married to Marketing. With over 14 years of marketing experience, including leading a marketing team for a Fortune 500 company, she provides CEO, blogging, social media, and online marketing consulting for wedding businesses. We are happy and honored to introduce you to my friend Anna Coates with us today on Breezin Chats.
Welcome, Anna.
Thank you guys for having me.
Super excited, Anna. And I have been passing paths for, several years now.
Mm-hmm.
And we just can't wait. I know Michael doesn't know a lot about your story. Jesse and I have been following you for quite a while.
Well, I have been learning for the few months that I have been back. Everyone knows Anna, talks about her. If there's anything to do with weddings, she's the person to talk to. So I feel like I know you, but just on the cuff of things. I can't wait to explore who you are and learn who you are today, and we're so happy to have you.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, Jesse, take it away.
Well, I mean, I've also have known you for so many years, and I can't even, what year of business are you now?
This is 7. It's year 7.
Yeah. So 7 years I've known you as part of the wedding industry, but I honestly don't know if I know your whole story. Like, what you used to do before this, what was life before Marry Me Tampa Bay like for you, and then what kind of made you kind of go into this industry of crazy people and vendors.
Yeah. So if you would have asked me growing up what I wanted to do, I wanted to be a lawyer. And that was just because my father wanted me to be a lawyer. In high school, I was active with journalism. I was on my school newspaper. So one summer, I went to a journalism camp and decided, okay, I'm going to study this in school. It's always good to know how to write. So I went to Western Kentucky University. I'm from Kentucky, believe it or not. I used to have a much stronger Southern accent. I used to say
what part of Kentucky
y'all and fixing to.
I still say y'all.
My college is about an hour north of Nashville in
Okay.
Kentucky. So I went to school for a news journalism degree. About my junior year, I decided I didn't want to go to law school anymore. I was really kind of more interested in marketing, which is my minor. Post-school, I did some journalism internships. I wanted to be a sports writer. That was kind of my thing.
Oh, that's so cool.
And then I got to be a sports writer and realized I don't really like sports that much.
A little problem there.
Yeah, so I remember I was covering a golf tournament and my editor asked me, well, how far is that last putt? I just kind of like held up my hands for a measurement, and he's like, Anna, this is just not for you. So I went over and kind of worked the city desk and got to do a lot of different stories of, features and different things happening. But I always said that I'm too fluffy for news journalism. I really liked more of the marketing aspect, more of the strategy behind that. So my next career after that is I worked for an SAT prep company. No, actually, back that up. I was a financial advisor for like a year. When you go to school, you have no idea what you want to do.
Not at all.
Yeah.
So I was a financial advisor because I liked money. But didn't really like being a financial advisor. I did that for a year. And then I started working for an SAT prep company, teaching SAT prep on the side. They needed someone to help with their operations. So I'm like, hey, I'm happy to help. So I started working with them, and I was there for probably about a good 8 or 9 years. And I was the director of operations for the Tampa, Atlanta, DC, New York, and New Jersey markets.
Ooh,
So
all up the coast.
traveled a lot and learned a whole lot about the SAT during that time, and took lots of SAT prep tests just for fun.
So you can get a perfect score now.
I still can't get a perfect
one,
score.
and I never want to take another.
Still can't
again.
get a perfect score. But it's really interesting. I did their operations and marketing, and kind of grew out of that position and wanted to pursue marketing even more. So I went and did marketing for a travel insurance company. Not travel, but travel insurance. So imagine writing about press releases about travel insurance all day.
Exciting.
Not the most exciting job
Not
ever.
like the destination, but the insurance.
Exactly.
About it.
But soon after that, I landed basically what I feel like is a dream job for a lot of people in marketing, and I did marketing for Whole Foods Market for 3 years. So I
forgot that.
Yeah, so I got to open up the Carrollwood store
Carrollwood.
here in the Tampa Bay area, and I got to do all of their community relations marketing, social media, graphic design, all that good stuff. I got to manage a team there. And then during all that stuff happening, I, at the time, was planning my own wedding, and I spent a lot of time online. This is before Pinterest. So I had to right-click and save photos into a file. But the problem with that...
Ancient.
Yes,
Right.
yes.
Boy, how times have
People don't
changed.
even know what it was like to plan a wedding that long ago.
And that
But-
was how long ago?
That was, gosh, eight years ago. Yeah,
Okay.
8-9 years ago. But I realized that while there's tons of great inspiration, I didn't know anything about the local wedding market. I didn't know the difference between this DJ and that DJ and this florist and that florist. So I
But
thought,
how did you end up in Tampa? Like, if we go back, like, what brought you
And then
here?
we'll
So,
fast,
yes,
we'll get back to
Yes.
that.
what brought me
Sorry.
to Tampa was I lived in Kentucky and didn't live in Kentucky anymore. So why not move to Florida?
Pick a place, any place.
Yeah, pretty much. Never had even been to Tampa. I'm like, I'm coming to Tampa.
So you're just a random.
Yeah,
So
just
I didn't know if something had brought you here
no,
or
just wanted to live in Florida.
change.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
Picked
now,
a great place.
and now I say I can never live any further north than Florida because this is as far north as I go.
Yeah.
But no, when it came to Marry Me Tampa Bay, there just weren't any great local resources for doing actual research. You can find a list of wedding vendors. Wanting to truly get to know them, kind of distinguish who's the cream of the crop, that didn't really exist. So I combined my marketing background with my journalism background. That's kind of how I started my business, which was just for fun, for a hobby. I did that for about a year, and then people started asking if they could advertise. I'm like, sure, give me $10.
Right.
I didn't know.
Not a very good business model.
We should have got in on the ground floor.
But about 3 years in, one of my neighbors, who was also a business coach, whose wedding I actually just got to feature a couple days ago, believe it or not, she said, you know what, we should meet about this. You should really make this into a business. And I said, there's no way this could be a business. And then 6 months later, I quit Whole Foods and did this full time.
Wow, good
So,
for you. That was a fast
Yeah.
forward.
Yeah.
Started from planning your own wedding to
Yeah.
opening the door
Yeah.
to something so much bigger.
Yeah, it's really, really a cool thing to
You're
do.
like one of those brides that had the wedding blues when your wedding was over.
Yes.
You're like, I have to keep doing this. I have to keep planning something. I have to do something
That
in
was
the wedding.
totally me.
And yeah, I hear that. It's a real thing.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
post-wedding blues.
Maybe Arthur should join her team.
Right. I have like a father of the bride that the wedding just happened and he came in on
Yesterday,
Monday
he's
and
all
he's like,
salty,
what
like,
do
what
I
am I
do
gonna do?
now?
Oh my God, that's so cute.
So it's funny.
It's so
Yeah.
cute.
Oh, hilarious. But,
Mhm. But it's a thing.
Yeah.
it's a
Really.
thing.
Most people have babies. I didn't go that route. I'm like, let me just
Right.
stick with this wedding thing for a little bit
Right.
longer.
But it's really great because I've watched you grow. We jumped in the beginning
Mhm.
with you, and
Yeah.
then it was just timing. The market was kind of going back seesawing, and we didn't know what to do, and so we had to think about our marketing dollars. And as we've watched you grow, and Jesse and I, especially since we rolled out the Breezin Wedding division, really sat down, and I always felt like we're missing the boat because you have such a presence. And I loved your product and just watching how you handle yourself out in the community and featuring the different vendors and being very fair and really looking out for your clients that are coming to you to research the industry.
Yeah.
Yeah, so tell us a little bit more about the publication. or the
Yeah.
advertising piece of it and how you get your vendors?
So what we do essentially, it's an online wedding publication, kind of like a blog. And it's so funny because talking to people not in the industry, they always ask, okay, what do you do? So I tell them, I run a wedding publication. And they always think I'm a wedding planner. So I'm like, no, I'm not a planner. I don't plan weddings. They're like, oh, well, you go to the weddings, right? I'm like, I didn't go to the weddings. They're like, what do you do? So people don't always quite understand that, not in the industry. But Marry Me Tampa Bay, we publish real weddings that have happened here in the Tampa Bay, Lakeland, and Sarasota areas. We also feature advice articles from local wedding pros because I feel like when it comes to planning a wedding, there's tons of advice out there, but there's not very good advice, and most of it is very high level and very fluffy. To where you read that and you're like, well, this is all common sense stuff, but I need to know actual local things with pricing so I can make informed decisions. I feel like for couples, they make poor decisions because they just don't know any better. They don't know how much something costs. They go online to a Facebook group and someone says that a DJ is $300, so they just assume you can get a DJ for $300, and they have no idea that you never want to get a DJ usually from a Facebook group. But that's a whole other story.
Craigslist.
Or Craigslist. But how how much research and how wedding pros really make or break your wedding. Doesn't matter how much you spend if you don't hire the right one that's the right fit for what you want, then it can really really affect your whole day, which you guys definitely know for sure. So
yeah, definitely. And how do you market to the vendors? To obviously us, it was an easy decision because we see you out and but for someone that doesn't know what benefits is it for a vendor to work with Marry Me Tampa Bay?
So, we started off mainly as kind of an advertising model where you have your ad, you have your vendor listing, and that was it. But with me, I'm always trying to be innovative and see how is marketing changing and staying on top of that curve. So a couple of years ago, I realized that just the pure advertising model just wasn't working anymore, especially with the way social media has affected marketing. So we tried to add in more of what we call a membership component. So with us, yes, you do have what's, quote, a vendor listing where brides can come online and look for a photographer or a planner or a DJ. But we also offer what's called a membership to our members. And basically, we try to really get to know their business to see how we can help complement their existing marketing. That's the thing. A lot of people in the wedding industry, it does tend to be small business oriented. If you take out your venues, most of the businesses, your planners, your photographers, your florists, your cake people, they're all going to be small businesses. And they're trying to wear 100 different hats. And with marketing, it's like accounting. You really kind of have to know it and understand it well to be able to do it well. I mean, yes, you can bumble your way through it, but to make it effective, you really have to understand
that. You're talking to the crowd about that.
This small business has faced that.
Yeah. So because of that, I really wanted to take the chance to know who our vendors are and to understand their business and to give them ideas, because that's what I know is marketing. You would not want me to plan your wedding. You wouldn't want me to do anything involved with that part of it. And in terms of marketing and what you can do to help market your business better, that's what we really excel at. So when it comes to what we do for wedding pros, yes, we do, quote, advertise them, but we also look at ourselves more as an influencer to couples out there, showing them who are the best people to use, who are the experts, and really kind of putting behind our name and our reputation behind the people that we represent. And we're really selective of who we work with too, which I think our members appreciate. You can't just give us money and become a member. We go through a vetting process. So we go through reference checks of people in the industry to say, hey, what do you know about Breezin? Would you recommend them? Would you share them with your clients? And obviously we have a great opinion of you guys, but we always like to get that third party.
Course.
And so because of that, the members that we do represent in our wedding community, really are kind of the best of the best, because their peers highly recommend them too.
Now, now on the consumer side, when you're looking at the brides and grooms, how do you market to them to want to follow you on Instagram or follow the blog online and check it out?
So last year we had about 750,000 page views come to the site, about 130,000 visitors. And for us, we're a small local website. We just cover maybe 60 square miles of weddings. So we get a ton of readership. About 40-ish% of our readers come from a Google search. So we've published over 1,000 articles on weddings. So that's a ton of SEO.
A lot of content.
A lot of
there,
content.
yeah.
So because of that, we rank really, really high for anything Tampa Bay wedding related keyword. I used to live in downtown Tampa, and I had a downtown Tampa address, and people would show up at my doorstep thinking we were a venue for a venue tour. So I just didn't know any better.
That's funny.
And I'm like,
You
no,
ignore
I'm
your
like, send them
PJs.
away. So a lot of them come through SEO, and then about another 40% come through social media. We are really lucky to where Facebook still drives a ton of traffic over to our website. And a lot of that is because whenever we feature a wedding, all the vendors involved showcase it and share it. And of course, the bride's family and the groom's family, they share it as well. So because of that, we get a lot of traffic back to our site. And even with as popular as Instagram is, we still get a ton of traffic from Facebook. Although Pinterest by far is our #1 traffic driver in terms of social. Yeah, a lot of people on Pinterest. The thing with the Pinterest traffic though is it's great for inspiration, but our site's dedicated not just to inspiration, but for people who are getting married here locally to find vendors here in the area. So while we appreciate the Pinterest traffic, it's going to be the other traffic that's going to be most beneficial to the people who advertise with us.
Right.
But we have a really strong, even though Instagram's not a traffic driver, we're super active on our Instagram stories. We have a whole Instagram team that handles, we have someone that handles just Instagram stories, someone that handles...
I was going to ask you, like, there's no way Anna could be always posting all this stuff. She's so busy.
No.
And I follow the stories a
Yeah.
lot, and I follow all the different, global vendors. But by far, I mean, and then we saw something from the
taste.
We're like, we gotta ask Anna how she does that with the
like,
3 different pictures.
Yeah.
It was so cool. And
You know how to do all the different kind of graphics and things like that. Where I don't
We're
know
learning.
enough.
we're
We're
just
still
picture,
learning, but
word, emoji.
you guys are
and
extremely active in Instagram, and I love to follow you guys on there.
kudos to
And
you
when
guys
you're
for
asking
that.
questions, and you can see the percentage of how people answer.
Yeah.
I love when you guys do that.
So that's the big thing that people haven't quite caught on yet with Instagram. Instagram for a while was something where you just post pretty pictures and you like it. And now that's what everyone does. So the whole purpose of social media is to be social and to create engagement. It's not just to create a like. And now it's really hard to get people to interact with you on social media because now we're just becoming so numb to pretty pictures or numb to pictures in general because we see so much of it. So we've spent a lot of our efforts this year focusing specifically on Instagram stories because I feel like Instagram stories is probably the most underutilized social media avenue out there. And it's a really great way to interact with your clients, with your customers, with your readers, whatever it may be. So we've spent a lot of time developing that strategy, and I actually have had a chance to speak about what we've done nationally at some different conferences, and I'm going to try to do more training on that because we honestly get more leads from Instagram stories than we do through any other avenue, and just engaging with our couples and talking to them on there.
I've noticed engagement on stories personally.
Yeah.
Just the stuff that I'm doing.
Yeah.
I get more engagement on stories than I do on pictures I post. I'll post a story and then I have a direct message or a bunch of direct messages like, who did the flowers on that wedding that you just posted? Or what venue is that? And when I'll post pictures, I don't get a whole lot of engagement.
Yeah, the Instagram newsfeed is just not what it used to be anymore. I think it's really all about the stories because people genuinely do want to get to know your story, your brand, what it is that you do, what sets you apart, and what makes you different. So Instagram stories is a great way to do that. And it's actually even led to the fact that now I get to go to my readers' weddings. They will invite me. We have a whole process now if you want me to come to your wedding.
And blog it.
And blog
write
about it and
Wow.
post it on social media.
So start inviting you to some of my clients' weddings.
Yeah, so I've gotten to go to some weddings where I've never had met the couple until I meet them the night at the reception. And it's a lot of fun for both of us. So.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So do you
Well, if
guys-
you ever need a wedding crasher date, let me know.
I always need a wedding crasher date. And that's actually how it started. I was walking down the street. I was going to the gin joint. And there was a bride outside of the vault in downtown Tampa. And I saw her in her dress. And I just wanted to go say hello. She wouldn't know who I was. So I just walked up to her. I said, congratulations. She's like, oh my God, you're marrying me Tampa Bay. She's like, come on into our wedding. So I was with one of my girlfriends.
She's out having a cigarette.
I wasn't having a cigarette.
I'm just kidding.
But I was with one of my friends who's a wedding florist. So we're like, okay, we'll come to your wedding. And it kind of just started from there. And then I've gone to a couple weddings
You're like,
since
this
then.
actually is not a bad idea.
Yeah,
We
like
we
real.
would have brought him to the wedding this weekend. I was so proud of the work that you did this past weekend.
Yeah,
at
it
the
was
Palm
a
City
big,
Country Club.
long planning process.
I saw it on
But
Instagram
was-
stories.
but it turned out beautifully.
Got it, yeah.
That's the one I just submitted, which is cool because it, you know, as a client of Marry Me Tampa Bay, we get to give, you know, be as active in it as possible as you want. You can utilize as much as you want. You want to post pictures. You want to talk about a wedding you just did. You want to give advice for, you know, when you guys ask for advice from real vendors. So you really have the opportunity to get as involved as you want as a client, you know, which is awesome. Like, I really appreciate that.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I have fun with it. I love writing.
Well, you're a writer.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And it's all about education. I mean, you guys spend so much time every day answering questions the couples have, and it's all about the education and finding a way to help them make the right decision for them.
Mm-hmm.
Even if it's not your business, but you want to make sure that whoever they hire a professional planner, a professional entertainment, because if they don't, that's when things go sideways.
Right.
Yeah, we really do try to educate because there's so many little things that they don't know because they've never hopefully had only planning one wedding.
Yeah.
Right.
And and I think it's gotten really really important. A lot of the venues are insisting. Back when I was a director of catering in the hotel industry, the planners were known to be a nuisance.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they were trying to create their worth, and that made havoc for the director of caterings and for the venues. And now I feel like the hotels and venues know that they need to move on and do their next sale. They're all in sales. They need to sell the property and don't have time to sit there and
Detail and do all that.
and
Set up decor, or tell vendors where to
breakdown,
go,
and just handhold the bride's hands and the groom's, or family members, you know. And so that's become a really big piece of the business. When we got in it, we realized, and we're very fortunate now.
Well, we ask every couple that we feature, you know, what's what's your advice you have for other couples? And hands down, if they've hired a wedding planner, that professional one, they always say it's the best money you can ever spend.
Yeah, she says it's an insurance policy.
It
I
is.
love
And if
it.
you ask any wedding vendor too, what advice do you have? No matter if they're a DJ or a cake person or a florist, they always say hire a wedding planner because it does. You're right. People think that wedding planners are there to set out, you know, centerpieces. No, you're there to make sure that things don't go wrong.
right.
To
That
kind
the
of
$30,000, $40,000, $50,000 that they spent in the year that they spent planning it is executed the way they envisioned.
Yes.
And that's and takes the stress off family and their friends and all that. Even when they don't hire me, I just say, do yourself a favor. I don't care if you hire me or not, but do yourself a favor.
Hire
and get
someone.
yourself
Yeah.
someone. Whether I'm a good fit or if you think I'm too expensive or you don't like because I haven't been at your venue, whatever it might be, find somebody. Do yourself a favor and find somebody.
100%.
Yeah.
I agree with that now.
But I wanted to talk a little bit about, because I don't know anything about I know very little about the IELTS Society.
yeah.
And I want to know more about that and how that got started and where that's going and just kind of explain what that is.
So IELTS Society is actually really cool. You know, if you're a wedding planner, you run into tons of other wedding planners. If you're a photographer, you run into tons of other wedding photographers. But as a wedding blogger owning a wedding publication, you don't really run into that many people who do what you do within a local space. So IELTS Society, believe it or not, was the child of a Facebook group. We had a Facebook group that was just wedding bloggers from around the world where we could just post our questions, kind of, you know, chat with each other, that type of thing. And then one day, someone said, hey, we should really kind of come together more officially as a collective of wedding publications and be able to harness that power that we have to be able to do, you know, campaigns with bigger companies and that type of thing. So the IELTS Society started, I think it's about 3 years ago, about 2015-ish or so. And it's a collective of about 30 wedding publications from around the world, literally from around the world. We have them in Australia and Africa, in Europe. And basically what we do is we have a kind of one site that's like Pinterest, but so much better, called IELTS Society. And you can go there and you can search for weddings that are weddings just in Florida, or if you want to get wedding inspiration of just modern wedding inspiration. Mm-hmm. It's going to be a place where we have put all of our favorite publications, all of the favorite weddings that we featured into one site. And what I like it better than Pinterest is you do have that browsing capability of saying, I just want to see weddings that have happened in Florida, or I want to see weddings that feature balloons, whatever it may be. And what's nice is it's all newer content. You know, sometimes you go on Pinterest and it's content that's been pinned like 8 years ago, and you're like, this is not relevant anymore. So Isle Society is really, I go there a lot of times for inspiration to see like, what are people doing over, you know, on that side of the world? What are they doing? So it's basically kind of like if Pinterest and Instagram had a child, it would be Isle Society. And because of that, I got to do a lot of really cool things as a smaller local publication I wouldn't get access to. So I've got to go on a lot of press trips to the Caribbean. We've done a lot of stuff with Sandals Resorts. Got to go out to Las Vegas and be a guest at the Venetian Hotel for a few days and basically stay there for free, experience all of their restaurants, learn about how their weddings work, that type of thing. Because again, all of us coming together, you know, as one powerhouse has been great. We get to do a lot of campaigns with bigger companies too. We've done some stuff with David's Bridal, with Movado, the watch company, with some different businesses. That's really cool.
That's so cool.
Awesome.
Kind of taking different ideas all across the country, international, and bringing them back to here to Florida.
Do they have a board, or are you on the
so they do have a board. I'm not on the board, but I am a part owner and a founder of the company.
That's
so
awesome.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank
That's
you.
Beautiful. Yeah. And I'm not quite sure what it's all about, but you started the influencer division of your company.
Yes.
Do you share it with our
So I started getting invited to local influencer events. You know, obviously with Marry Me Tampa Bay, we're a wedding publication, but primarily our readers are going to be late 20s, early 30s women who live in the Tampa Bay area or have some type of tie here. So because of that and our readership base and how large our readership base is, we started getting invited to influencer events, which are awesome. They're really fun to do. But again, coming at everything from a marketing perspective, you know, I thought, hey, there are some missed opportunities that the business hosting the event could have taken better advantage of. Because a lot of times they'll invite influencers out and just say, hey, come to this event and eat our food and just take pictures. And we're like, well, what do you want us to talk about? Like, what's the messaging you want us to get across? And again, a lot of times businesses just don't quite understand some of the marketing strategy behind the tactics that they do. So after going to a few of these events, you know, I learned that businesses just don't know what to do with influencers. They just want us to come there, and then we don't always have the greatest direction. So I created Tampa Bay Influencers, which basically matches local businesses with local online influencers. And it's a great way to share your story about your business, what makes it different, what makes it unique. And we help organize the influencer event. But something that's really kind of cool is with influencer events, it's usually a one-night affair. But after that, you know, in the land of social media, like after a week or two, things just don't exist anymore. So because of that, we have what's called a brand ambassador part of our program, which allows you to work with influencers throughout the year on an ongoing basis. So you don't just have a one-time relationship with them. You actually do develop a long-term relationship so they can continue to, you know, promote your business and to share what it is that you're doing. So that's been really fun and exciting.
Yeah, she just came out to the Taste of South Tampa.
Yeah, we got to, thanks to
them.
Cindy's reminder, we got to work with the South Tampa Chamber of Commerce and come out to the Taste and have some influencers come out, which they had got a lot of last minute traction. I know they're having I think we did some ticket giveaways, and I think if you add up all the comments alone, not just the likes, I think there were probably close to like maybe 600-700 comments about that, and probably like well over 2,000 to 3,000 likes at least, just the last few days leading up to the event. So
that was awesome. That was a good move, and it was such a beautiful day out there.
Yeah.
Some great vendors.
What do you feel like the benefits are in like teaming up with an influencer besides just like exposure?
So definitely the exposure, but what people don't realize, you can take when you're thinking about what to do with your advertising and your marketing dollars. Yes, you can always go and put it into some type of ad, right? Whether it be a Facebook ad, Instagram ad, newspaper ad, billboard, whatever it may be. But that's also going to kind of be like a cold audience, right? They may not be familiar with your business. When you work with an influencer, they already have a following. People already trust them, and they already know to come to them for fashion advice, food advice, lifestyle advice, that type of thing. So if someone's saying, an influencer is saying like, hey, you should go check this out, they already have that following. So it's not going to be a cold audience, it's a warm audience. So it's kind of like getting a recommendation from someone versus just being an advertisement. So that's kind of the difference. It's versus if you were to walk up to someone on the street and say, hey, where do you suggest I go to dinner? Or if you walk up to your best friend who's lived in Tampa for 10 years and he's like, hey, go here, you're going to trust them more. So a lot of people trust and influencers, that
So
are in a
like
certain
if like a
space.
new restaurant was opening and they want people to know about it, they can team up with like a food blogger who's an influencer and say, hey, can you come to my restaurant and post
Absolutely.
about it? And then all their following will be like, oh, we gotta try the restaurant because she liked the restaurant.
And social media is a lot of FOMO these days. So if you see a whole bunch of people posting about something, you're like, that must be cool. I have to go check it out. Everyone else is going. I have to go there too.
Yeah, Osteria did it to me.
Yeah,
they did a
They
great job.
did a kick-ass job.
And how about the place we went to for your 10-year anniversary?
Oh, the
You
Mole
guys had to
World,
get
which is the same.
You had to get your picture out.
Yeah, and then all these places are doing like the cool spots for photo ops for social media. Like
so smart.
They have the cute little neon signs and just like that one. There's that one place that heights of the bathtub.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
What's the name of that place?
Mandarin Heights.
Mandarin Heights. Yeah, I mean they were the first place that you started seeing everyone posting a picture in the bathtub there, which was funny. But they're all catching on.
But it's so memorable. Everyone remembers that and knows that. So there's a lot of things now because again the way social media has changed and evolved that really affects the way that you market and you run your business. So influencers are a big part of that, and now a big thing too are niche influencers. So a lot of people think about how big's your following, but if it's not relevant to your audience, doesn't matter if their following's 2 million. If it's not relevant to your audience, you shouldn't care
if they're
about
following
it.
you for sports and I want you to be my influencer for weddings.
Yeah, it's not going to make sense.
The guys following you aren't going to care.
So finding those niche influencers, a lot of times the niche influencers who have usually maybe a much smaller following, like maybe 2,000, 5,000, even 10,000, they usually have a tighter relationship with their audiences because it is a little bit more intimate. So a lot of places now, instead of spending, maybe $15,000 with a big influencer, may take that and spread that among several smaller niche influencers and still get the same, if not better, results.
Never even thought about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've tried. I mean, I follow a couple of different bloggers in Tampa and like Orlando area, and I've tried that where I reached out when I saw they got engaged. Like, I'd love to try to, I'd plan your wedding, obviously, for the exposure. And we went back and forth, and I almost thought they were gonna kind of go forward, and they didn't. But that was kind of like my thing. She has a huge following. It's all younger girls, girls like 25 to 35. So it's probably a good bride, good bride. Bridal range or whatever, and she was getting married and posting a lot about her wedding, even though she's a fashion blogger. So I knew people were following it and following her story and how she was going to plan her wedding. So that would be like my dream, is to team up with someone like that.
So what you can do too is, what people don't realize is really anyone's an influencer on social media. If you post something to your social media and you get 5 of your friends to go just because you posted about it, I mean, you technically are an influencer. Yes. So you're officially an influencer today.
I've sold a couple of candles because of my social media posts.
Exactly. So everyone's an influencer. So what you can do too is what we recommend is we've started letting our readers and followers take over our Instagram account. So whenever they're going, let's say, dress shopping, they can record some videos, take some pictures, and then we post it to our Instagram account. But you can do the same thing for your couples as well. For the brides you're planning your weddings. Whenever they're doing really cool stuff planning, have them take over your Instagram for a day. First of all, that's free content for you guys. You don't have to create anything. They create it for you. And they're going to be so excited to share, hey, look, my wedding planner, they post all the stuff in my wedding planning business, and other people are going to get to see it. So you can actually take your current clients and make them into your own little mini influencers as well. So that's kind of a really neat concept to utilize that too.
Yeah, okay. We do that with some of our entertainment. We have the ones that we go live at the airport with a handful of
stories and at a wedding.
At a wedding and stuff, but
like you said, if you utilize your current clients, that all those girls within that space, they're all getting married too. They kind of all get married about the same time.
Once one gets married,
they're all getting engaged around the same time.
Domino effect. So that's a great way to see, to have their friends become familiar with your business besides just on the day of their friend's wedding. So. And we always get excited when people repost us, no matter who it is. So it's always a cool thing when someone else reposts you or that type of thing. So.
I agree. So what's in store for your future? What plans do you have?
Oh,
I feel like every time I enter, I have a new business venture, or how are your business going to grow in the future?
Yeah, so obviously Marry Me Tampa Bay is, it's where my heart is. It's how I got started in all of this. But I've been doing it for so long now, and I've worked with so many businesses that I can only do so much for them when it comes to the advertising and marketing side through Marry Me Tampa Bay. We can send them traffic, but if their website is a hot mess, if their social media is outdated, that's going to turn couples away. Mm-hmm. So because of that, we started a consulting side of our business to where we can actually come in and sit down and kind of I almost call it a marketing coach, because a lot of businesses right now in the wedding space, they know they need to do marketing. They just don't have time for it because they spend so much time servicing their current clients, working on new sales, that marketing always gets pushed to the end. So what we do is we meet with our clients usually about twice a month, and we sit down and talk about the strategy, what they have going on, and then tactics of how their own team implement it. Yes, we can do that for them, but a lot of times we want to help them figure out how they can implement it within their own team
on their own,
and be self-sufficient.
We keep trying to teach us.
I'm trying.
You're doing a great job.
There's so much to learn, and it's always changing.
Well, and it's so hard
day.
because at an event, sometimes I just don't have time.
Yeah.
Like I miss pictures, or I didn't take pictures of things that I should have totally taken pictures of, just because you're working and you're like you're just on, and you're pulled in so many different directions at the event. It's not like I'm doing nothing, twiddling my thumbs and take a picture here and there.
Wedding planners do.
Right? We just sit around and wait for things to happen. But
that's why the relationships with the photographers on the
definitely
are super. Didn't the guy send you before the end of the night several
pictures?
So that to give, and we love giving props back to anybody that's been a part of the wedding or our entertainment. To professional pictures are priceless.
Right.
Yeah.
What would you say is kind of like the biggest no-no in social media right now?
I think one of the biggest no-nos I feel like right now, and a lot of people are doing it, is posting but not responding or engaging. Yeah. They're putting out their own stuff, they're tooting their own horn, but they're not going to other accounts to, maybe other wedding vendors and saying, hey, that wedding you posted was gorgeous. You did a great job on those florals, or you did a great job with, that catering. They're just focused on promoting themselves. And no one's going to really engage with you unless you engage with them. It's like going to a networking event and just going up to everyone and just saying hello, talking about yourself, and then leaving before they have the chance to tell, about themselves. So it's the same thing with social media. A lot of people are posting because they think I need to post a picture every day, or I need to do this, but they're missing the whole engagement part, which is the whole reason social media really exists out there.
Yeah. Any new social media channels on the rise that you think we should be paying attention to?
Honestly, Instagram right now, as you guys know, is the hot one. But again, going back to Instagram stories, a lot of people kind of use it now, but don't know exactly how to use it to where you can really convert your followers into potential leads or clients. And I'm working on putting some training together for that, because we found some really great ways to get that engagement that you can't find as much on Facebook or through Instagram newsfeed. And I think a big thing too is listening to podcasts, because marketing is constantly changing. It's something that what you did a month ago, you don't do it now, because Facebook and Instagram, of course, Facebook owns Instagram. They're constantly changing and reevaluating things. So I listened to a couple different podcasts. One is called Amy Porterfield's, I can't remember the exact podcast, but online marketing, whatnot, but Amy Porterfield, she has a phenomenal one. It's more marketing related, but it's still relevant to any entrepreneur, business owner, business professional. And then Social Media Examiner is another really great online marketing podcast that even if you don't implement everything on there, it still kind of gets your wheels turning and make sure that you're not thinking about social media as it was a year ago. You're actually approaching it of how it should be utilized today. I listen to those on a regular basis. That's kind of how I stay up to date. And then having, masterminds with other people in the industry.
Are you in a mastermind group?
Yeah, I work with some other wedding marketing consultants, some other wedding editors, and we talk on a regular basis, because again, when your business is to market, you really have to be innovative and stay ahead of the curve and be prepared with what's coming next.
Yeah.
With the Instagram, I know you do a bunch with the Instagram story. What do you think about the IGTV that they've kind of come up with?
You know, when IGTV first came on, I was really excited about it, but honestly, I don't, and I'm a big video person. I used to create a ton of video content. I don't know. I need to ask my readers to see how much they use it. The thing is with IGTV is our attention spans are so short. I don't know if people are really going over to it. I mean, I'm sure they are for certain things.
Yeah, and I just saw, it was, I don't know if it was a new feature on it, but like when you're scrolling through your feed and you have a video, you can play your first 50 seconds of the video, and then it takes you to IGTV, so you can have like a 4-minute video on there explaining something. So just wanted to get
and I did see actually where, like you said, with the story, you know, with the stories can be 15 seconds, but I saw too where you can add a swipe up feature if you do have a video that's an IGTV, so you can go and watch it.
I always want to add that swipe up, and I'm like, I always joke when I send like my friends stuff, I'm like, swipe up, but you can't. Obviously you can't.
Like, I can't do it. I was like, oh,
or I'll send my girlfriend like a video like, hey, I just bought this on Amazon, like you should get this, and she's like, where do I swipe up, girl? Where do I swipe up? I'm like, I wish.
Yeah, we'll have to start using the swipe up.
It's always an inside joke now.
So the swipe up feature, you have to have 10,000 followers on Instagram to be able to implement that into your account. But believe it or not, very few people, I've talked to people who have it, and very few readers or followers actually use it, because Instagram has been designed to keep us on Instagram. They don't want us leaving their channel and going anywhere else. So
I bought a lot of things from swiping up, just so you know. A lot of things.
Sure swipe rubber.
I've given up bloggers a lot of commission because
your husband's not watching.
He's not. He won't.
Okay, so we need to start a separate Instagram account of all the stuff we bought off Instagram, because I'm the same way. I save it. I don't swipe up. I'll save it, and then like one day when I want to do online shopping, I go back and pull up all the things that I've saved, and I have
a laundry list of what you should buy, and then what have been the fails, the swipe up fails.
Yeah, we need to compare notes.
So that honestly, I saw someone actually and they didn't have that much, but they had, this is totally off topic. I know we're going like way off topic, but they had their favorite like purchase, like online purchases, like whether it was Amazon or from following bloggers, this or that, and there was like just pictures and reviews on Instagram about the different things that they purchased, which are the popular like swipe up, buy now kind of stuff. And it was very interesting, and then I swiped up and bought something else.
So tell me, what's been your favorite purchase and your fail purchase?
My favorite purchase is the face steamer. So it's like it was like $30, and it was this blogger saying that it like changed her skin, and it definitely helped with like her product, and it's like, it was $30 on Amazon. You fill it up with water, you turn it on, and like within like 25 seconds, it's like full steam, like you're having a facial. So every time after I get out of the shower, wash my face, I put that on before I put my product on at night.
Oh, nice.
And it has definitely helped my skin.
Nice.
And my dad even noticed, like, oh, your skin looks a lot better.
Your dad uses it?
No, he noticed that, but he's like, your skin looks better. I'm like, it's this face steamer I bought online from this blogger, and I swiped up
and then Michelle goes, I want one.
Right? Exactly. But so that was definitely my favorite purchase. My fail,
I think those things those chargers.
We bought. That was a swipe up. It was some sort of like wireless, like, you know, put your phone on it, charges your phone, and never works. Never works right.
The phony AirPods.
They're
they're like $20.
You know what? I saved, and I saw an ad for some similar things, so I'll have to see. I'll have to see if they're ones where I don't buy those.
Yeah. By far, that face steamer has been my favorite thing I've bought. So and now I guess send it to everybody. Like, guys, have you seen this? Swipe up.
You need
buy one.
You need to send it to me, because I'm definitely interested.
Up on that.
Like $30 and it's free shipping. You know,
the worst one was that something with the lips
to make your lips fuller.
Yeah, and it was horrible. I mean, it did nothing, like nothing. And I tried to send it back. I tried to comment and threw it away.
I'm one of those that totally get sucked into that Instagram black hole. Yeah. For sure.
Michael, what have you been purchasing off Instagram at 2 o'clock in the morning?
No, I am not
for everybody.
Yeah, I bought some water bottles for the girls, some 64-ounce water bottles.
Speakers.
Yep, speakers.
It's very practical.
I'm not a big compared to the ladies here who I guess as Bella calls it wine and primes.
Wine and prime.
Not really too much. So.
Poor Michael, he's here with all these women. I guess it's not a bad gig, huh?
Yeah, Breezin testosterone.
Just to kind of get back on topic, I mean, obviously we talked a lot about your social media and your businesses and your ventures, but personally, what are some of your personal kind of goals, or what you got any fun trips or anything planned in the near future?
So, personal goals for me, I think as an entrepreneur, you always look for that work-life balance.
Mm-hmm.
No matter where you are in your business, starting out or 30 years in. That's a struggle that you always have. But over the past couple years, I've really kind of made working out to be a priority in my life. It's not something that I'll get to. It's something that that I make it a priority just about every single day to do. And it's not just good for your body, but it is great for your mind. Or sometimes if I'm sitting at my desk for too long and I'm just over everything, I'm like, let me just go walk for 15, 20 minutes and just move my body and kind of clear my mind and come back and you just feel totally refreshed. So I'm a huge, huge proponent of fitness and doing that, and then travel as well. I really think, I'm very lucky that having an online business, I am able to travel and to work from anywhere. So I always try to plan a big trip at least every other month. It usually ends up being just about every month. It doesn't have to be anything crazy. You can just be going somewhere for the weekend. But I always tell people that, you will never say, man, I really regret going to DC for the weekend, or I really regret going to Nashville, right. Whatever it may be, or I really regret spending that money going to Europe. You never regret money when it comes to travel. You'll forget about the purse that you bought, or you'll forget it, unless it's Louis Vuitton. You'll forget about the shoes, or whatever it may be. But I really feel like travel and experiences is something that really, you won't forget about. Not to mention, it just teaches you so much about the world and other people. And you can draw so much inspiration off of what other cultures do, what other people do. So,
do you have traveling buddies, or can you go by yourself?
So luckily, I kind of have friends spread out all over the place. I'm doing a girls' trip to Europe the end of May. But last year I did my first solo travel. I've traveled by myself for business, obviously. I did my first solo travel where I went internationally by myself. And it is the coolest thing. You would think you would get bored and lonely, but it forces you when you're out at restaurants to talk to people. If you're sitting at the bar, talk to the person next to you, or to do tours, or whatever it may be. So I highly recommend solo travel. This past Christmas, I went... Christmas in Florida just isn't the same as it is other places. So I decided to go to London to look at Christmas lights. I went there for a week and just went by myself, and it was great. I woke up in the morning, took some photos, went to lunch, went back to my room and took a nap, and then went back out in the evening. And it was just...
Sounds like a dream.
Yeah, it was great because
I admire it.
You don't have to answer to anyone. You can kind of do your own thing. And I really recommend solo travel. Just do something. And I think that you'll find that you enjoy it more than you would ever.
My solo travel is going back and forth from the beach.
The travel every day.
The Courtney Campbell solo travel.
Any bucket list travel places that you would like to go to?
I was born in Korea. I have not been back since I was born, so I really would like to learn more about my country and spend more time in Asia. I went to Tokyo a couple years ago, and that was an amazing trip.
I like to do Asia too.
How old were you when you came to the States?
I was 2. So I moved from Korea to Alabama.
Wow.
Yeah, but luckily I was too young.
The Korea of the West.
Yeah. Luckily I was too young to experience the shock, that I went through. The culture change.
You didn't know Alabama was the Korea of the Western.
Now I know.
Yes,
Western world.
It's the secret. That's their new travel slogan,
right?
Actually.
Right.
The Asia of the South, Alabama.
That's funny. Where are your parents in this area now?
So my father's back in Kentucky. That's where he was born and raised. I was adopted. So, like I said, I am Southern through and through.
Kentucky girl.
Yeah, Kentucky
girl.
Love it.
Yeah. Well, this has been wonderful. I know you've got another obligation to go to because you are that influencer of the Tampa Bay area. We really, really appreciate you fitting in. You were well deserved to be on our pick of 40/40.
Thank you.
Just to let you know, we had nothing to do with it. I would have picked you, but I was. It was really done professionally. We hired a team to take care of that and to have outsiders nominate different people. So we're coming up with our magazine again, and maybe you'll assist us with. We'll have Marry Me Tampa Bay and then assist us. We're going to have another party to. We're coming up with a theme right now.
And, we released it last week. We actually chatted about it. It's called The New Tampa Bay, kind of discussing all the new
changes.
That's awesome.
You know, everything going on with Sparkman Wharf and that whole Channel Side area.
Yes.
It's going to be, what is it? Not Channel Side, it'll be
Sparkman Wharf.
Water Street.
Water Street. So everything, the new hotels will be coming in, how it's going to change, you know, the growth of the convention center and everything downtown and midtown coming up
and the marina.
Yeah.
So there's just a lot of stuff just in the Tampa Bay area and the growth. So, you know, we're like, why not feature a magazine of everything that's coming?
That's such a smart thing because Tampa is really on that cusp of becoming such the amazing city. It already is, but really utilizing the potential that it has. Tampa is just so awesome, and I think that it's so great that what I love about Tampa Bay specifically is that if you're an entrepreneur, you can still come here, start your business, and have great success. And it's a very welcoming community for entrepreneurs. You know, I was in Atlanta recently, and Atlanta just feels so big and so impersonal sometimes.
I lived up there for 6 years.
So compared to Tampa, I feel like if you're a business owner right now, or if you're thinking about starting a business, now is the perfect time because it really is about to kind of really, you know, blow up in its own right, and to you know, get your business established right before that happens. I think can be great.
Yeah, there's so much going on in it. I've been here for quite a long time, and just the South Tampa area has exploded. I mean, we need some transportation.
Yeah,
right. Yeah, that's the biggest. Right. You know, the Tampa Bay or the St. Pete Times did an article, and they interviewed all these people in Tampa, and it was all they said like 80% transplants of the people that responded to the article, and asking them what brought them here, what age were they when they came here, and all the ages were like between the ages of like 22 and 35. They came here. It was like 60% came here for a job transfer, and then decided whether or not this job works out, I'm not leaving.
Yeah.
And that, but the biggest complaint from all of those was 98% was the traffic and the lack of other transportation modes.
Yeah, 100% agree.
Yeah.
I just did that article like yesterday.
Atlanta, who does have a transportation.
But we have a fabulous airport.
We have the best airport
ever.
Yes,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, again, we'd like to thank you. You got any final questions, or?
No, I just appreciate your time, and I know your time is very valuable, so we really do appreciate it. We look forward to continuing to grow our business within Marry Me
Tampa Bay.
Yeah, this was so much fun. Learned a lot. I mean, thanks for coming in.
Yeah, definitely.
You know, just hopefully maybe we'll have to do it again with you. You know,
that would be perfect.
On your next venture.
Our next venture.
Well, if you guys do have any questions, you can follow me at Marry Me Tampa Bay on Instagram, at Life of a Wedding Blogger is my personal account. If you do have any questions about Instagram stories, reach out. I'm happy to assist. So.
Awesome. Thanks, Anna. As we always
say,
have a breezin' day.